At Bogside, till the track closed in 1965. Here's a look at the recent Roll of Honour. It features two horses that are in the race today. Vicente, who won the race 12 months ago, and Alco, the 2014 winner. They'd be looking to join Verona, Androma and Merigo as dual winners since the race moved to air. We'd always seen Red Rum, the only horse to win the English and Scottish Nationals in the very same season. Here are the runners and riders then for the 2017 renewal. Number 1 is Mr. Approach, Leighton Aspel. 2, Vivaldi Collonge, Harry Cobden. 3, Fine Rightly, Andrew Lynch. 4, Cruz Linen, Richard Johnson. And 5, Vicente, last year's winner, Sam Twiston Davis. 6, Arpège de Laine, Sean Bowen. And 7, Seldom In, bidding to give Derek Fox a memorable national double. And Sandy Thompson, the sole Scottish trainer in the field. 8, Battle of Shiloh for Adrian Heskin. 9, Southfield Royale for Noel Feely. 10 is Dancing Shadow, Nick Schofield. 11, Premier Bond, David Bass. And 12, Stradna Hannah, Sean Quinlan. 13, Shotgun Paddy for Darryl Jacob. And 14, Ben Benz. Zach Baker can only claim 5 of his £7, putting up £2 overweight at 10 stone 8. 15 is Lessons in Milan for Jerry McGrath. 16, Alco, Jamie Moore. 17, Another Hero for Aidan Coleman. 18, Henry Parry Morgan, Robbie Dunn. 19, Vintage Clouds for Danny Cook. 20, Sugar Baron, Nico de Boinville. And 21, Blake Mount, Henry Brook. 22, Firebird Flyer for Tom O'Brien. 23, Dawson City, Wayne Hutchinson. And 24, Trust and Times, Jake Greenall. 25, Portrait King for Connor O'Farrell. 26, Cogry for Jamie Bargery, claiming 3. 27, Alvarado, Brian Hughes. 28, Gone Too Far, Mikey Hurd, claiming 5. And 29, Father Edward, David Noonan. Rounded off by 30, Man with Van, Adam Short, claiming £7. 4 miles is the trip here. Starting point is at the entrance to the back straight, so effectively it's 3 complete circuits of 9 fences, making up 27 in obstacles in all, but they do come pretty thick and fast, and once we get going here it can be very helter-skelter.
And National didn't go much further after that, so he'll be fresh too.
He will be fresh. I just think, you know, the fences here at Ayr are very, very different to what you get at Aintree. They're actually very different to what you get at Cheltenham as well. And I actually think he really likes these fences. It'll be a huge plus for him being back here. And I think Sam will have to he'll do what he did with him last year, keep him middle to outer, give him a little bit of room, let him just find his feet, because it's important for a horse that's hit the deck early just to try and get over those first few fences. Just look how tightly packed they are, Luke. There's a huge field, and yet they'll go rattle down over the first couple.
4 miles, 27 fences, all 30 of them. Now, on the opening show this morning, Luke, you said you fancied Henry Parry Morgan. Why?
Yeah, he's really unreliable, but he's down 15 pounds in the handicap. This ground will suit him, and he's got some really smart form.
Sit tight, here we go then. The Coral Scottish Grand National with Richard Hoyles.
So the roller coaster that is the Coral Scottish Grand National about to begin. Start of the entrance to the back straight. You can see they're all jig-jogging, wanting a good position. Starter is happy to let them go, and away we're off and racing. 27 fences to take during the course of their journey. Vintage Clouds leads them through the starting area first with Vivaldi Collonge. Cogry is quite handy towards the inside as they arrive 30 strong at fence number 1 of the 27. Vintage Clouds makes a mistake and all but unseat the rider, and we lost one towards the inside, which I'm pretty sure was towards the inner. I'll pick him up in a moment as they head on. Blake Mount it is who's up in a handy position as they race on towards the second. Could well have been Arpège de Laine who went at the first, and yeah, she's still there, so I'll do that for you in a second. Blake Mount's out in the front with Southfield Royale. Cogry comes third. Behind these in 4th place is Cruz Linen, just ahead of Henry Parry Morgan as they rise at the next. Vivaldi Collonge and Dawson City. Back markers over it included Gone Too Far, Father Edward and Fine Rightly is also towards the rear of the field as they continue to make their progress on towards the next fence. The jockey who came down at the first is yet to rise, hidden from me by the ambulances, and they're making some moves to potentially dole that fence off early on. Cogry it is who leads then, with Blake Mount, Southfield Royal right between the pair as they rise at the next. Cruz Linen took it in 4th place as they all stepped over that, and still towards the back of the field include the likes of Fine Rightly, who's held up at the rear. So Cogry on the inside of Southfield Royal. In 3rd place towards the outside is Blake Mount, with on the rails Cruz Linen showing in 4th place. Stradna Hannah comes next on the outside of Henry Parry Morgan. Dawson City comes next, racing on the inside of the hooped colours of Another Hero. Then the green cap, the grey horse Vintage Clouds, who made that mistake at the first obstacle, ahead of Vicente, who's okay in midfield as they all stepped over that. Dancing Shadow is towards the rear of the field as they continue their progress up the home straight. And Southfield, Royale and Cogry with Blake Mount continues at their progress. They have doled off that fence down the back straight because the rider who fell at the first is still down. So Southfield, Royale with Cogry and Blake Mount head him up with Mr. Approach racing on the outside of Cruiselin and Henry Parry Morgan. Arpège de Laine on the outside of Stradna Hannah as they all step over that. Seldom In was the back marker over it as they continue their progress at just a steady gallop now, heading towards the last in 2 complete circuits time. Cogry on the inside of Southfield, Royale and Blake Mount as they prepare to rise at the next. Watching the stragglers over it as they continue their progress up the home straight and out in front. And still showing the way, it is Southfield Royale. It was Sugar Baron who came down at the first. He's the loose horse right in amongst the field. So the rider who is down is Nico de Boinville. As the runners prepare to turn away, they will not jump the first in the back straight, and I believe that means they'll have to omit it on both of the remaining circuits. So as a result, we may only have 16 fences left to take, with Cogry racing on the inside of Blake Mount, and between the pair Southfield Royale with the white face and noseband. Cruiselin is in 4th place with Mr. Approach, Henry Parry Morgan, then towards the outside Stradna Hannah. Dawson City travels with another hero in midfield as they turn into the back. Truston Times with on the at one's outside, Lessons in Milan. Vivaldi Collonge comes next towards the inner with Alco. Portrait King is still well back in the field. Also well back, the likes have Gone Too Far, Father Edward and Ben Benz as they skirt that obstacle. The back marker is Seldom In, who is beginning to labour slightly. Fine Rightly has been held up in the rear throughout. So heading on towards the next, now the first down the back. Cogry it is who took it in front, and Cogry is over safely. At this stage, Premier Bond is struggling right back in the field, so it doesn't look as if Nicky Henderson's going to win a national here at the moment, the way they're going. Blake Mount with Southfield Theatre and Cogry. Then Mr. Approach, who's jumped his way into 4th. Arpège de Laine was pulled up sharply before taking that obstacle, so Arpège de Laine is out of the race as well, as Cogry leads Blake Mount and Southfield Royale towards the next down the back. Mr. Approach comes next, and still towards the back of the field, Seldom In, as they head towards the last on the far side. See him over that and get some thoughts mid-race as Cogry with Blake Mount and Southfield Royale. Mr. Approach, Cruiselin, Stradna Hannah and Henry Parry Morgan as we approach the halfway stage in the Scottish National. Back markers streaming over it. They include Premier Bond.
Premier Bond looks to have an uphill struggle at this stage, Richard, but I think Vicente just looked a little bit nervy over the first couple, but I think Sam Tristan-Davis, you can see him mid-pack there with a white noseband and a white cap. He'll be a lot happier now. Interested in a few of these others are ridden a bit handier today. Henry Parry Morgan in 6th, Mr. Approach in 5th, jumping now. He's a little bit keen early, Luke.
Southfield Theatre just made a mistake there, but on the whole, he's travelled really well. I must admit, my selection, Henry Parry Morgan, I'm absolutely delighted. He's jumping and he's travelling really nicely, but this is where they start quickening the pace, Richard.
It is indeed, and this is where a few of the stragglers are finding it hard. Premier Bond is right at the back of the field, and also Seldom In, who hasn't gone from an early stage, as Cogry leads over the next with Blake Mount. Then towards the inside, Southfield Theatre and Cruiselin. In 5th place is Mr. Approach. The grey is Stradna Hannah. Then another hero in the hooped colours with the white cap, Lessons in Milan alongside that, and Henry Parry Morgan. That's the leading group of about 9 or 10. Truston Times will rise in about 11th place alongside Vicente, a mistake by Vivaldi Collonge. So the order as they make their way up past us with a circuit to travel. Cogry leads from Blake Mount in 2nd place, then Southfield Royale towards the inside in 3rd. 4th place on the outside, the grey Stradna Hannah as they turn away. Cruiselin and Mr. Approach next with another hero up the inside of Lessons in Milan, Henry Parry Morgan. Alvarado gets a call moving forward. Truston Times makes the turn with Vicente. Alco comes next with Dawson City. Then behind these, Battle of Shiloh, who's still going. Premier Bond is the one that's really labouring, and he's right out the back as they turn away, and pulled up in front of the stand. Seldom In is also out of the contest. So they're going to omit this fence once more as Cogry leads Blake Mount down the back with Stradna Hannah, Southfield Royale and Cruiselin up on the inside as they prepare to rise at the next fence down the back. Mr. Approach is still there. Henry Parry Morgan, another hero, comes next with Vicente, Lessons in Milan out wider towards the outside. Vintage Clouds, the grey, as these leading groups made up of plenty of horses. Alco comes next as they skirt the fence with Battle of Shiloh. Then Dawson City comes next as Mr. Approach, under this big weight, leads them over the next obstacle. And out in front it is Missed Approach for Lake Naspel, leading from Blake Mount. Then behind these in third place Stradna Hannah. Cogry still there with Southfield Royale, then Henry Parry Morgan. Vicente's made ground. Trust and Times made a mistake there. Still towards the back of the field, Premier Bond and also Vivaldi Collonges is towards the rear as Missed Approach leads them towards the sixth last. Didn't jump it too well. Slight mistake by Henry Parry Morgan and also Alco as the stragglers stream over it. So out in front it is Missed Approach who leads. Blake Mount's never been far away, likewise Cogry. Stradna Hannah next with Vicente out wider. Henry Parry Morgan rose in sixth place. Southfield Royale just beginning to struggle slightly in seventh. A mistake back in the field there by Cruz Linen as the runners begin to make the turn back towards the fourth last. So turning for home in the Coral Scottish Grand National. There's plenty of chances here as out in front Missed Approach leads Blake Mount and Cogry. Vicente travelling stylishly in fourth. Then Stradna Hannah on the outside of Henry Parry Morgan. Lessons in Milan. Southfield Royale's losing ground. Alvarado's making ground with White Face. Jumped that well. Then behind these and pushed along towards the outside is Alco with Battle of Shiloh as the leader Missed Approach heads down then towards the third last. It is out in front Missed Approach joined by Cogry who jumps back to the lead. In third place Vicente now moves through in threatening fashion. Then Alvarado comes next. Lessons in Milan. Ben Benz is running a mighty race towards the outside. Then Battle of Shiloh as Cogry leads over the second last. Down towards the last in the Scottish National. It is Cogry who is out in front, being pursued now by Vicente as they head down towards the last. Ben Benz runs on with Alvarado and Lessons in Milan. Cogry over the last from Vicente. Can he pick him up on the run in for back-to-back nationals? Cogry with Vicente on the near side, edging closer with every stride. Cogry's a neck clear. Now it's ahead. Vicente draws alongside and joins the dual winners of the Coral Scottish Grand National. Vicente it is who is home in front, runs down Cogry in the dying strides. I think it's Ben Benz possibly up for third with Alvarado, Lessons in Milan, Blake Mount, Alco, Dancing Shadow, Henry Parry Morgan, Missed Approach, another hero, Alco, Portrait King, Battle of Shiloh, Southfield Royale. Vicente got no further than the first at Aintree. He left it until after the last to win the Scottish Grand National. When he did so 12 months ago, Paul Nicholls was able to catch Willie Mullins. He may not be able to catch Nicky Henderson this year, but it'll certainly help.
That is a brilliant piece of training.